It was the first time we realised, yeah, we're out in the real world, but we're like in a bubble, a TV bubble. We're making a TV show, it's not real, but it is real. One of them had Hillary for president, one of them had NASCAR sucks, and I had something like Man Love Rules Okay down the side of my pickup truck. And then a truck arrived full of there's no other word, rednecks, carrying shotguns, literally four of them in the back of the truck with shotguns in the air like that, started throwing rocks at us. That's the first time we realised, okay, lesson learned. So we ran away. I'm going to start before the Grand Tour and before Top Gear, before I was in TV, before I even worked in the media, when I was about 17. So I was only just driving at all. It was a road trip because it was from one point to another, but it was walking. And I'd been thrown out of sixth form, not for any heroic reasons. I hadn't set fire to the headmaster's car or the school or anything. I was just annoying, so they fired me. I'd got into art college and I was bored because I had a big gap until I went. And my dad said to me, "Oh, come on, Rich, you've got to do something." I was like, "Yeah, I will." And I just read Merrill's book where he walked round the whole of the coast of Britain. I want to do that. Then I realised it takes a year. I didn't have a year. So I thought, well, I won't walk round it, I'll walk across it. So I went from sort of across from Scarborough over to the Lake District. It's the narrowest bit, it's about 220 miles. And I set off on my own with my rucksack, with my tent in it and my dog. And I walked. And it was my first road trip. That's where my wanderlust, if I have such, came from. And it gave me a taste for getting from here to there, albeit I was on foot, which isn't ideal.
It's amazing how you can have that experience when you're 17 and then so much of your life is dedicated to just exploring.
It's just the way it happened. It only happened because I was thrown out of sixth form for being a dick. So that just goes to show what can shape your life isn't necessarily what you expect. I'm going to pick when we went to Alabama. This is the Top Gear days for us three. And it's kind of one of the first. It's not the, well, it's before we did specials. So this was still a film in a show. In the days when we do a show, we'd introduce from the studio, "Hi, here we are. We've done that. James is testing this, blah." We did a film in Alabama, quite a big road trip. And it's quite well known because we thought it was funny. I mean, we chose our vehicles, a Trans Am, a big Buick for James, and I had a pickup because I do like a pickup. And we set off, and we thought when we got to Alabama, it'd be quite funny to paint cheeky slogans on our cars. It was the first time we realised, yeah, we're out in the real world, but we're like in a bubble, a TV bubble. We're making a TV show, it's not real, but it is real. And the slogans on our cars were quite fruity. James had, I can't remember which way we were around, but one of them had Hillary for president. One of them had NASCAR sucks. And I had something like Man Love Rules Okay down the side of my pickup truck. And we thought it would be about as dangerous as driving through Cornwall or Devon with "I hate cream teas" splashed down the side of your car. We thought, oh, just you Brits, are you crazy? We thought they'd just laugh, but they didn't. We pulled up in a petrol station and a terrifying woman came out. "Y'all trying to see how long you last in a hick town?" "No, not really." And then a truck arrived full of there's no other word, rednecks, carrying shotguns, literally four of them in the back of the truck with shotguns in the air like that, started throwing rocks at us, big rocks. We scattered. One of us scattered first. I won't ruin his dignity by saying who it was, but his name began with J and ended with Rummy Clarkson. And he was the first. He went very quickly. James's car wouldn't start, so I had to jump start him whilst they were pelting us with rocks. And then we took off, and we had CBs in the cars, and we could hear them. I got them here at this crossroads. They were tracking us clear across Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. It was hellish. That's the first time we realised, okay, lesson learned. We're in the world, we've got TV cameras, but they don't affect a magic protective bubble. They don't stop rocks. So we ran away. That was the first time we had to run away.
I still think that's one of the most iconic moments of TV from my childhood. I remember we all spoke about it at school the next day. It was just like from start to finish, we all see each other in different classes. "Did you watch Top Gear last night?" Yeah, it's still, I can picture every single moment of that. It was incredible TV.
Funniest moment for me in that film, I was in the middle, Jeremy was in front and me, then James behind. And we were crossing a railroad crossing. And I pulled up onto the crossing and a car in front of Jeremy had stopped, so he stopped. So there's no barriers. So I was stopped behind Jeremy's car. James, I'd forgotten, the horn on James's Buick sounded exactly like a train. So he couldn't. He tells the story better than me. He just sat and he could see like my little cowboy hat through the back window of my pickup truck, and he went, which is what that horn did. And he said, I literally shot up and hit my head on the roof of my truck. Absolutely, because I immediately, oh my God, I thought for a moment, I am about to die on the front of a freight train. But it was James, mate. That's the funniest joke he's ever pulled. Next, I'm going to choose Bolivia, just because it was an incredible place. We saw rainforest, the Atacama Desert, where you are literally the only live thing you could see, even down to a cellular level. The Altiplano, where we also had altitude sickness, the prevention of which is a little blue pill, apparently. I didn't know that. I'm still not sure it is. Also, where I'd got into my car in the rainforest, looked up, and there was a massive brown spider on the roof. I was, yeah, get rid of that. Expedition doctor came in, and Deirdre, she said, oh, that's a brown recluse. Right, is that bad? Aye. They're the ones that bite you. They necrotize the skin and it rots off. I've seen photos. It's horrific. Don't look up what a brown recluse spider can do to you. It's awful. So she said, I'll get rid of that. She did, apparently, and I set off. But we were driving through the night, 8 hours, not filming anymore, just to make the next camp. And as we set off, rattling through the forest, the problem was, of course, the windows would shut on my truck, and you're in a rainforest, so the branches of the trees would come and deposit whatever was in them in my car. I felt a thud on my shoulder, looked across, and there was this spider. Ah! So I knocked it off my shoulder. Didn't have brakes on the car, it was broken, so just killed the ignition ring to stop. Threw the door and held myself out. Ran up to the camera car, said, check me for spiders. And they said, no, you're fine. And then I realised, no, but I've knocked it off into the car. And I've got 8 hours ahead of me through the jungle all night, not even filming, including Death Road, which James and I did, not on film because it was dark. And James's alternator had gone, so I was charging his car battery and mine, and then we'd swap them when it expired in his. And I was doing all that with a deadly spider in the car somewhere. It might still be there. If you bought a very early Land Cruiser in Bolivia, don't check under the seats. My final one, and this kind of is number one actually. It wasn't even a road trip because there was no road. It was the North Pole, which will always have a place in my heart as an incredible trip because it was a boys' adventure. As a kid, I read Scott. I read anything to do with the Antarctic or the Arctic. It's all I wanted to do. And it was incredible. I wasn't long out of hospital after brain injury, so the doctors weren't entirely sure about me going, but they didn't want me to go. But I did, so I did. And to be in an environment that doesn't want you to be alive, if you lose your glove, you lose your hand. And that's that. And you know, when it comes to your morning ablutions, you set off on your own across the ice, carrying a shotgun with the loo roll around the shotgun and a shovel. And you look across the barren white landscape and think, over there. And you dig a little hole, adopt the necessary position, and whilst there, think is holding the shotgun because we were being hunted by polar bears. And they think, well, if a polar bear comes, if nothing else, my diet hasn't been brilliant. That'll speed up the process a treat. Yeah, it was. I'd love to go back. I haven't done anything Arctic since, and I'd love to return. Incredible experience.
Do you think that would be the final Grand Tour, or is that already?
No, we wouldn't choose that, but I would love to film in an Arctic environment again. Nothing makes you feel more human, more vulnerable than being in a place where being human isn't enough. Polar bear just moves about the place majestically. It's evolved to live there. It absolutely owns it. It is king, and you are, at best, a brief snack.
I remember you doing a bit to camera saying you had to count to 10 or something, and it took you like 4 attempts to even count to 10 because your body was so...
Yeah, it was brutal. Thank you. Take care. We'll talk again, I've no doubt.
Yes, yeah. Hopefully for the last one, hopefully we'll do something big.
Definitely.
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you so much, guys.
Take care, my friends. See you soon.
Bloody hell! You're in a minefield. Back up exactly where you...
Hey, what's going on? I'm Kevin Hart.
Hi, my name's Eric Stonestreet.
Hi, I'm Margot. I'm Journey.
I'm James McAvoy.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe.
I'm Rebel Wilson.
I'm Jeremy Clarkson.
I'm going to be translating some Scottish tweets for It's Gone Viral.
On It's Gone Viral.
Ooh, on It's Gone Viral.